What's up, everybody? It's Herms from DraftSharks.com, here to give you a list of 4 players that we feel as though are overvalued redraft targets in 2023. For this exercise, we've cross-referenced our half-point PPR rankings against current underdog ADP. If you want to check out our current rankings, go ahead and check the link that I put for you in the description. The first player on this list is somebody that we have ranked as our wide receiver 27.5 PPR, which is pretty far off from his current underdog ADP of wide receiver 16. It's crazy to think about, especially considering that this guy hasn't played a full season of football since 2020, and now finds himself on a pretty busy Jacksonville Jaguars offense that just saw another wideout, Christian Kirk, absolutely explode last year. It's going to be tough to figure out exactly how Calvin Ridley fits into the equation down there working with quarterback Trevor Lawrence, the aforementioned Kirk, and let's not forget about tight end Evan Ingram as well. The one thing we do know about Ridley is that he does have the highest ceiling of any pass catcher in this Jags offense. In his last full season in the NFL, playing with the Atlanta Falcons, Ridley finished 11th among wide receivers in target share, tied for 11th in total receptions, ranked 4th in receiving yards, tied for 8th in touchdown catches, and ranked 7th in yards per route run. The guy's an absolute star. But when you consider the fact that we have the Jaguars offense projected to give both Ridley and Christian Kirk 20+% target shares, why would you take a guy like Ridley priced pretty close to his overall ceiling when you could just take Christian Kirk several rounds later? We're not suggesting that Ridley is a bad player, but he has been away from the game for a long time, and there's a really cheap alternative just from a value standpoint that you can scoop up on the same team later on. Make sure you keep that in mind before you do your next draft. The next player on our list is a guy that is also going to be playing in a new offense this year after somewhat of a disappointing year last year, but there's still reason to be optimistic, but not quite as optimistic as his current underdog ADP suggests. New Eagles running back DeAndre Swift is going off the board at RB23, which is pretty far from where we have him ranked at RB33. Yes, the good news is he'll be part of a very run-heavy Eagles offense that absolutely supported a pretty stellar fantasy asset in Miles Sanders last year. But the tricky part about believing in Swift that much is the fact that we're not exactly sure where his touchdown upside is going to come from, let alone how much involvement he's going to see in the receiving game. The Eagles offense produced a 12% target share to running backs last season. That was the second lowest total in the entire NFL. As much as we like DeAndre Swift's pass catching chops, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Plus, Kenneth Gainwell is still on the team's depth chart and very good at similar things. And we can't talk about this running back room without mentioning Rashad Penny. Yeah, he's missed 40 games over the last 5 seasons. His season high of games played, 14, came when Penny was a rookie. But when he's healthy, he's one of the better lead backs in the league. Swift will be competing for red zone touches with both Penny and Jalen Hurts. Remember him, the quarterback that recorded 11 rushing touchdowns last year? Yeah, that guy. It's not that we don't think that DeAndre Swift can be good. It's just that if you're drafting him that high, you kind of need his ceiling to be a little bit better. Our third player on this list is a guy that everybody in fantasy football really, really likes to draft, and he comes from one of the league's highest-powered offenses. The tricky thing with this player, though, is that on that offense, there are so many talented playmakers around him, and we're not so sure that he's going to be able to sustain his insanely high touchdown rate from last year either. 49ers tight end George Kittle recorded a career-high 11 touchdowns last season with a ridiculous 18.3% touchdown rate. That run he went on at the end of 2022 was certainly magical, but we don't expect that to continue. It's also worth pointing out that he logged an 18.9% target share last season, which is down from the 24+% that he had seen over his last 4 seasons. At tight end 4 in ADP, you're kind of banking on him having another outlier season. For that to happen, we'd have to expect somebody like Deebo Samuel at wide receiver, or Brandon Ayuk, or Christian McCaffrey at running back to get hurt, or hope that whoever ends up winning the quarterback job between Brock Purdy and Trey Lance absolutely explodes. We still like Kittle at tight end 7 in our rankings, so don't take this the wrong way. He'll still be a pretty good pick, just definitely not that high. The last player on this list is a rookie from 2022 that closed the season pretty strong And the GM of his team already came out and said that they're excited about what he can do and anticipate a larger role for him in the offense. Though it's not going to be without its hiccups after the Bills signed running back Damian Harris this offseason to run in tandem with him. Yep, you guessed it. We're talking about Bills running back James Cook, currently going as the RB30 in ADP, but ranked just a few spots lower in our rankings at RB35. This argument is kind of similar to the thing we just got done talking about with DeAndre Swift. Much like Jalen Hurts, quarterback Josh Allen also really likes to punch it in himself in the red zone. And with his 5'11", 213-pound stature, Damian Harris makes way more sense as the kind of wrecking ball goal line back for this Bills offense. That puts Cook at best third in line for red zone carries, so he'll have to rely a ton on his receiving upside to produce for your lineups. We still think it's smart for you to invest in a pass catching back in one of the league's best offenses, but maybe don't get your hopes up too much. If there are any players that you think we missed or anything that you disagree with that was said in this video, make sure you let us know in the comments section. We would love to hear from you. Take care, y'all. We'll see you next time.